Hello everybody and welcome to my guide to Chimera. We've once again been blessed by Dkayed with more leaks, and this time it's a big one. Over 20 cards have been revealed, and among them the iconic and much anticipated Chimera deck, which debuts the illusion type of monster. 9 cards from this archetype have been revealed, and today I'll go over the archetype's general game plan and playstyle, go through the leak cards, show you a combo with the deck, and at the end there is a clip going through the deck list. But before we get into it, consider leaving a like on the video if I helped you out today, as it massively helps out the channel, and subscribe so you don't miss any future content. Chimera is a fusion-based archetype with cards that are retrains of the classic Gazelle, King of Mythical Beasts, Baphomet, and Chimera, the Flying Mythical Beast. The illusion type is a sort of blend between fiends and spellcasters, and are a callback to the classic illusionists cards that Pegasus used in the manga and anime. Together, they form a competent strategy that generates a lot of card advantage by adding cards to hand and ripping cards out of the opponent's hand. And the end board is not bad either, setting up a few negates and other interactions. Because of the deck's mono summoning of fusions, it blends very well with the branded archetype. And this is the variant of the deck that has seen the most competitive success, along with Horus, which hasn't arrived to Masterduel yet. Let's take a closer look at the individual cards, starting with Gazelle, the King of Mythical Claws. On summon, we can add a level 5 Fiend or Chimera fusion, and if it's sent to the graveyard as material for a fusion summon, we can add an illusion monster from the deck to the hand. It either provides the materials for a fusion summon or the spell itself, and recycles stuff back when we fusion summon. Its best buddy is Big Winged Baphomet. On summon, it adds a level 4 beast and Chimera fusion, but locks us to fusions, which isn't a big deal since we only run a single non-fusion monster. If it's sent to the graveyard as material for a fusion summon, it can special summon an illusion monster from our grave. So Gazelle adds Baphomet and Baphomet adds Gazelle, creating this nice loop. The reborn effect is also very good, as Mirror Sword Knight has a quick effect we can use on the opponent's turn. It tributes itself to summon a card that mentions Chimera fusion except itself, allowing us to special summon Baphomet in the opponent's draw phase for a nice +1. That's not all. While it's in the graveyard and we control Chimera, the Flying Mythical Beast, and our opponent activates a monster effect on the field, we can banish it and negate the activation, giving us an easy +1 from Baphomet and a monster negate. Now we're talking. Next up is Cornfield Quattle, another illusion monster and Sword Knight's best buddy. We can discard it to add a monster from our deck that mentions Chimera fusion, so any of the cards we've gone over so far. And just like Sword Knight, while it's in the graveyard and we control the Flying Mythical Beast, we can banish it to negate a targeting effect from the opponent and destroy the offending card. It's a little less versatile in its negation compared to Sword Knight, but the destruction effect can be huge. Both Sword Knight and Quattle have negation effects in the graveyard and pretty easy ways of getting them there. We can expect to have these two in the grave most games, giving us at least 2 negates on our end board. We have to use them relatively early in the opponent's turn, as we do need to have our fusion monster on the field to use their negates. Chimera fusion is our main fusion spell, and this is a quick play spell, so we can set it and use it on the opponent's turn. Its basic fusion summon is just like Polly, using monsters from hand or field as material, but it needs to include either a beast or fiend monster. What makes it special is that while we have the Flying Mythical Beast on the field or in the graveyard, we can add it back to our hand even on the same turn we used it. It has a third effect to banish itself and special summon Gazelle and Baphomet from the deck or graveyard. The problem with this effect is that those cards are really bad, so just ignore that it exists. This card is of course super searchable through both the retrained Gazelle and Baphomet. There was one more main deck card in the leak, Nightmare Magician, and I have not seen any tournament topping lists running it, but I figured I should at least mention it. It can both pop a card and has a Goyo Guardian type effect that steals opponent's monsters. Moving over to the extra deck, we have Chimera, the King of Phantom Beasts. It needs a beast and a fiend as material. While it's on the field or in the graveyard, its name becomes Chimera, the Flying Mythical Beast. This effect is shared between all of the Chimera fusions, so we just need any one of them to enable our Quattle and Sword Knight in the graveyard. On fusion summon, it lets us rip a card from the opponent's hand in the end phase, like an opposite day Magnamut. On the opponent's turn, it can quick effect banish itself from the graveyard and special summon a beast, fiend or illusion monster from the graveyard. The hand rip is of course fantastic, and floating into any of our other monsters is solid. Chimera the Illusion Beast, it needs Chimera the Flying Mythical Beast as material and one or more illusion monsters as material. It can attack monsters up to the number of materials used for its fusion summon, so at least twice. And since it's an illusion monster, it does have that standard effect of no destruction in battle, but at the end of damage step, if it battled an opponent's monster, we can set it to 0 attack and negate it, and that effect is permanent. This guy is pretty big, sitting at 3100 attack, which means that is one of our best ways to OTK, even if our opponent has a full board. Finally, the last card of the archetype is Baphomet, the mythical king of phantom beasts. It needs 2 monsters with different types of either beast, fiend or illusion. On summon, it can send a beast, fiend or illusion from our deck to the graveyard, and during the opponent's turn we can banish it to special summon one of our banished beasts, fiend or illusion monsters, allowing us to recycle our spent monsters after using their graveyard effects. I haven't seen this guy pop up in too many lists, so I decided not to run him. I simply don't think it does enough. But that's all of the leaked cards. The rest of the deck is a branded engine and a small Frightfur package, along with my preferred hand traps for our meta. If you want to see the full deck list, check the end of the video. Now let's take a look at a combo with the deck. For this combo we're going to need Branded Fusion. There are other lines and other setups, but this one is the best 1-card combo. So we're gonna use Branded Fusion and send Mythical Claws and Albas to our grave to summon Rindrum. This will trigger Claws to add Coatl to our hand, and then we discard Coatl to add Sword Knight. Then normal summon the Sword Knight and use its effect to tribute summon itself and summon Baphomet. This will trigger Baphomet and add Claws and Chimera Fusion to our hand. We then use Chimera Fusion to summon King of Phantom Beasts. Activate it and Baphomet's graveyard effect, and we use Baphomet's effect to special summon the Sword Knight. Simply set the Chimera Fusion and we're done with our turn. This board has Sword Knight, Coatl and Rindrum for negates. We can also use the Chimera Fusion to go into any number of fusion monsters, Guardian Chimera for pops and draws, Magnum for destruction, Dragos Stapelia for a monster negate, and so on. Rindrum can of course also bring back the Albas we sent earlier for even more fusion summoning, and in the end phase King of Phantom Beasts will rip a card from our opponent's hand. A respectable end board with a rather simple combo. I like it. We'll have to wait and see where Chimera ends up on the tier list, but I feel it should be able to compete. Thank you very much for watching the video. Consider leaving a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.